Good evening, everyone, and thank you for your support. Let me start off by just talking about how this partnership really works real well with us, with Social Venture Partners. We're a growing enterprise, meaning we need to have infrastructure, we need to have the right advice to grow this enterprise nationally. And that's where we see the Social Venture Partners coming in. We see REBOOT going from here to there almost overnight. And I'll give you an example. First and foremost, we're less than a little bit more than a year old. And we've pretty much hit the right spot at the right time in terms of what the country needs. And so we're on the right side of history. The right side of history meaning, what do you do with transitioning service members, especially today? And as you all know, we have a big problem out there: homelessness, incarceration, high unemployment, domestic issues. The list goes on and on and on. And the current model that's being used out there, which has tremendous money dedicated to it, isn't working. And so we've come up with a nice little concept that basically says there's a gap. And the gap is, how do you bridge that individual's understanding from the military to civilian life in such a way that they can make a smooth transition and not fall victim to all of those challenges. And so we've pretty much nailed it. We're beginning to get a lot of attention and a lot of recognition from Washington. And I'll give you a little story on that. On August the 3rd, I went back to the Department of Defense at the request of one of the secretaries to speak about REBOOT. That was on a Wednesday, August the 3rd. On Friday, August the 15th, in his address to the nation, the President talked about the need for a reverse boot camp. That's not a coincidence. There's a direct connection right there. The folks at the Pentagon, after they heard about what we're doing, as they were trying to find solutions and were struggling with the answer, got a bingo moment and says, that's it, let's take this straight over to the White House, let's give it to the President, let's get on national news. And so, right after that, our phone started to ring, and we got contacted by a task force that the President put together. It's called the Performance Improvement Council, who are scheduled to come out and do a site visit on us this month on the 27th. And so, we're in the right place at the right time, providing the right services. So what that means to us is, we're going to have to grow up really, really, really fast. We won't have 3, 4, 5 years to get the experience, to get our footing, if you will. We're going to have to go to from 0 to 60 overnight. And are we scared? Yeah. We're scared. We're scared about success. We see it coming. And so we're going to need the right maturity, the right experience, the right partners, the right everything to make that happen. And that's where we see Social Venture Partners coming in, helping us understand the business model, business growth. This is now beyond us in terms of a regional program. This is now becoming a national program. One of the parameters that they're expecting, and we're going to hear something from them within the next 60 days. That's how fast this train is moving. The President is scheduled to give an address by Veterans Day, which is November the 11th. He's going to come back and say, we found boot camp. And right now, we're the only ones that we know of in the nation that's doing this model here. And so chances are we'll probably get it. In fact, we have about an 80% chance of winning this opportunity. And what they're going to do is they're going to identify somebody to run a pilot project in 5 cities. And they've already identified the 5 cities: San Diego, Seattle, Fort Hood, Texas, Washington, D.C., and either Jacksonville, North Carolina, or Jacksonville, Florida. They want 5 sites up and running. They want the model working so that they can give the President something on the 11th of November that says, yes, they have it. So we got an 80%. The 20% that, again, just concerns us is that we're not Washington insiders. We're spending a lot of our time here cultivating, growing, and developing the program to get it off the ground and ensure that it's viable and functioning and working. That's A. B, we currently do not have a government DOD contract in place. And so we're trying to work those solutions through. We have some people back east that understand who we are and are trying to help us find the right partner, trying to connect us up with the right congressional members, make sure that we see and meet and greet everybody who's going to be ultimately making that decision. And so we may be standing in front of you about maybe 30, maybe 60, maybe 90 days from now with a whole different story that, okay, REBOOT is now national. Okay. Once that happens, it'll probably become exponential from there because of the magnitude of the problem. Right now in our nation, we have over 1 million unemployed veterans. California alone has over 100,000. And every year we have over 200,000 people coming out. And right now in the rafters, there are about 2.6 million veterans that are out that are looking for some kind of a reboot. And so do we see a future? Do we see opportunity? Yes, yes, and yes, and yes, and yes. And so do we need a social venture partner? Absolutely, because we know we don't have all the assets, all the resources, all the knowledge in place to do this. This is going to be something that we believe is going to be on a huge scale. And we want to do it and want to do it successfully. And let me just say, for us, it's not about money. It never was about money. That's why we're a nonprofit. It's about service. It's about helping those millions and millions of people who deserve a better chance at a better life and need this kind of a reboot. And so we're proud to be associated with the Social Venture Partners. We love working with the team. Tuck has been there with us pretty much every day. He calls almost all the time. We have breakfast at least once a week. We talk about strategies and ways to bring more assets in to try to help us grow up real fast. And so what we need to do, we need to grow up real fast. And so we need all of you to be our mommies and daddies and the whole 9 yards to really help us get there. And so we're proud of you. We're glad to be affiliated with you. We're looking forward to the future. And we're not afraid. I said I was scared. I'm not scared. We're really excited. Let me just tell you one more brief story about how REBOOT is really taking off. About 2 weeks ago, I got a call from one of the Navy cooks that works in the White House. And he had heard about REBOOT from a buddy of his who'd gone through the workshop and was really, really excited about it. And so he sent me an email and said, "Hey, Master Chief, when are you guys going to bring REBOOT out to the White House, out to the East Coast?" I said, "Well, as soon as we get some money, as soon as somebody pays for it." I said, "But look, why don't you do this? Why don't you go to your department head, mention something to him, and then maybe if you get a chance while you're serving the president, why don't you tell him something about it also, about REBOOT?" And so, you got to be careful what you say to sailors, because they take you at face value. So he sent the next day, he sent the email back and said, "Master Chief, I went and told my department head, and I went in the White House compound, and I told everybody in the compound about REBOOT, and the first chance I get to say something to the president, I'm going to tell him about the program." And so we got a lot of people out there that are really vying for and promoting and pushing REBOOT. I was asked to give you 1 or 2 human interest stories. We got over 360 human interest stories. And so it's really hard for me to pick one out because every single person that goes through the workshop is special, has a special, unique story that when you sit down and listen to them, it just, your mouth just flies up like, wow, you're on the verge of disaster and this helps save your life. And so I couldn't give you one because, it wouldn't do justice to all the others. So I'll just tell you, we have over 360 great stories, and on the 30th of September we're going to add 20 more, and we're going to keep adding and adding and adding until we just have a whole army of people that are coming back saying what a wonderful life and how they've helped us and what we're doing. And so that's what REBOOT is all about. We want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for supporting us, for believing in us, for helping lift us up and helping put us on the path. And so I know my time is up, and so I want to just turn the podium on the stage over to Ray, and Ray will close everything out, and we'll take it from there. Thank you.